Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we have some fun things. The lighting has been completely installed here at the new terraced garden. I'm going to show you that, and then we are going to head up to production because we have got a fabulous sale for our online customers, both with hydrangeas because it is prime time to be planting some hydrangeas, and we have the 2025 annuals from Proven Winners that we have. They are 50% off. So we have got a lot of fun things to talk about and to show today, so make sure you stay tuned. At the end of the video today, Jerry is going to have some lovely drone footage of the terrace garden all lit up at night and some gorgeous views here in our North Carolina Zone 8A garden, middle of October. So we are standing here at the terrace garden. Of course, if you've been following us, you know that we have completely revamped this area within the last 6 weeks, shall we say. I am happy to say that all of the hardscape construction is complete. Yes! All we have left to do is some gardening, right? So we have plants still to put in the ground, and that's the fun part, right? So what has happened is the end of the wall here has been finished. We were talking about that the other day where we were going to end it. It is all nice and lined up now. So all those are lined up. Gardening wise, I know we were talking about this, the area is going to get completely revamped, and I am going to put that Roman candle podocarpus here on the end. All of this is going to get redone. Yes, those loropetalums are big, but come springtime, they are going to get trimmed back big time because that is the time to prune back your loropetalums. So having that Roman candle podocarpus on this end, it will balance the bed because we have one at the very end of that wall. Now, like I said, all the landscape lighting is in. All of the retaining walls have the ledge lighting. So if you can see that black little cap right there, that is where the lighting is for underneath the walls. Every two lights. So we have two lights every section all the way down. And then what we call the middle wall, because it's just in the middle of the terrace garden, this has two lights on the front side and it has two lights on the back. So you can see the wall on both sides. And then finally the last retaining wall up there, it has four across the back side of that. Each of the steps going up to the garden boxes, they too have the ledge lighting, and they're dead center. So when it's lit up, there's lights all the way straight up. I did say that it's 100% complete. It is, minus one small thing. So you'll notice that each of the steps on the edge, we have the coping. Coping is just that nice rounded edge that in the back of the steps are the like the same. These are the same as the caps. So they're just in there. So the back part is the caps. Site one, where we got all of our supplies from, they were a couple of short on the coping. So for now, we just have the caps sitting right there. They are not glued down. In fact, you can see the lighting is glued down. The coping, when it comes on, it will cover that edge. These are not glued. They're simply there to help hold back the gravel. So when we walk, it's just a lid. It's not, you're not going to trip or anything, but they are not glued down. Amazing. What we all love, well, we love it all, but what really shines, in our opinion, are the steps up to the chicken coop. So there are 7 steps, but there are 8 of the pathway lights. And y'all, when this turns on at night, it is absolutely gorgeous. It is stunning. And because it's on a hill, when we're down at the house, you can see underneath the lights, and it's just beautiful. So we alternated each side so that as you go up each step, you can see it lights it up super well. Like again, all of these are LED lights. Nice and bright. They're on a timer, so we can completely adjust when they turn on, when they turn off. You will notice that we have not yet buried the lines for the lighting because honestly, I need them exposed because we're going to come in here and plant, right? And I want to know where all of that is So once we come in and plant this area of the garden, then we will bury those lines. Just stick it under the mulch. I like to keep them very superficial. That way when I do come in and plant, I can easily find them. I don't cut through them with the power planter auger or a shovel or anything like that, because my husband would have my hide. Now, we also have, Jerry got them installed yesterday, the floodlights. So there are 4 floodlights that you can see here, and they basically are shining up between each of these firelight hydrangeas. So there's 4 through here, and y'all, it is gorgeous. It is so much fun. We can actually see all of this lighting through the windows. So at night when I'm sitting on the couch, I can actually, the way the windows are, I can actually see all the hydrangeas lit up. Which I told Jerry last night, I was like, it's so weird because we lived in our house for almost 21 years and now all of a sudden I can see the landscape lit up. It's a beautiful, weird thing. It's so much fun. And then the last lighting is we have 2 spotlights. And these spotlights right here behind the wall, and we've positioned them so that they shoot up on the green giants. I do think we could probably add 2 more because it basically, one lights up this tree and one lights up this tree. If we could get maybe, I don't know, because it's kind of a little bit dark right here, maybe get something in this general area, and then we would also like to get one to highlight the large fig tree. So we might be adding on to that, but yeah, it just looks great. So stay tuned because Jerry is going to, like I said, throw the drone up so that you can see it all lit up. It is great. The Hydrangea Hill, as I call it, is all those plants are coming in quite nicely, doing well. I have had to start, I don't know if you can see the yellow hose back there. I'm hand watering. I haven't gotten the irrigation hooked up yet. I was waiting for the lighting to come in so I know where the lighting is so I can work kind of around that. So I've had to start hand watering. Since Helene, we have had not 1 drop of water, which is great for the mountains. They don't need any water. But my plants, they needed water. So I'm having to come through and do some hand watering. The lower petalums took a bit of a hit. Might need to go back up and shore up some more of some soil up around the root ball. But once we get the irrigation in and it's all set up, I just have to rerun and redesign the drip tubing. We can turn that on, it'll be fine, and then we'll come through, because the landscape lighting's in and then the irrigation's in, we can come through and top dress with mulch, and then that will help tremendously with the water retention. But everything's doing well. All of the ground covering here for the steps are doing quite well. Even some of the ice plants, it's early in the morning, so they're not blooming now. But they were blooming too, so they have flower buds. They're just closed right now. They open and close with the sun. So that is the update here. So what we're going to do is we're going to head up to production, because I was telling Jerry, I personally have had, every time I go out in public, which, you know, sometimes because we work where we live, right? So I don't get out very often, but here lately I've had different appointments and different places I've had to go. Literally every time I go out and I'm talking with somebody that knows what we do, they always have questions about hydrangeas. Can I prune this now? Can I transplant this now? Do I fertilize it now? What do I do? Can I plant hydrangeas now? And so tons of people have been asking me about hydrangeas. So we're going to head up to production. I'm going to share some tips with you about your hydrangeas, hopefully answer some of the most common hydrangea questions. And we currently have a sale where all hydrangeas are 30% off online. So these are some gorgeous quart-size shrubs, hydrangeas, that it is the perfect time, especially if you're in zones like 7 and warmer. It is the perfect time to be doing things with hydrangeas. So we're going to head up there and I'm going to share with you some tips and some of my top favorite hydrangeas that we have. Here we are at production. So let's talk about this. All hydrangeas online are 30% off. Yes, you don't need a code. We've already done it for you. Just simply add them to your cart and shops to your little heart content. All right, so let's go over some basics with some hydrangeas. There are different types of hydrangeas, and based on the type of hydrangea will determine when you prune it, its favorite kind of location as far as sun versus shade, and then of course the bloom type. So we're going to go through kind of the different types of hydrangeas. First, in no particular order, we have what we call oak leaf hydrangeas, right? So oak leaf hydrangeas literally have the leaves that look like oak leaves. And my personal favorite, the one that does the best for us here in the South, is Gatsby Gal. So here we have Gatsby Gal, and you can see those leaves, right? I mean, they look just like an oak leaf. Oak leaf hydrangeas bloom on old growth. So that means it is preferable if you never prune them. Just put them in a place where they will can grow to their size and be very, very happy. If you have to prune them, then you're going to want to do that immediately after they bloom. One of the main reasons that I love Gatsby Gal is because, well, there's two reasons. One, it does not get huge like traditional oak leaves. Traditional oak leaves can get massive. My mama has one that is literally like 20 feet tall. Gatsby Gal is going to be much more contained for most gardens, right? She's going to be in that like 4 to 5, 6 foot range height, and then wide. They do gorgeous creamy white flowers that will age to a nice pink, and the leaves themselves in the fall are stunning. They turn a really rich burgundy, and then they hold onto those leaves for quite a long time. So Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea is my personal favorite here, especially in the South. Of course, there are tons of other types of oak leaves. I personally just like Gatsby Gal because she can handle the full sun in my North Carolina Zone 8A garden. Yes, she can. I had her on irrigation and did really, really well. So Gatsby Gal blooms on old growth. Oak leaves bloom on old growth. Try not to prune them. With all hydrangeas, as far as fertilizing, you can use a slow release fertilizer. They have the same characteristics and needs as roses, so we use Rose Tone. That's what Spring Meadow, the home of the Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs, that is what they suggest, and so I will fertilize them coming out of winter, going into spring. So for me, where I am, that means anytime in that like February to April range, give them a good dose of some Rose Tone and move on. So oak leaf hydrangeas. Next, we have smooth hydrangeas, arborescens. So arborescens, depending on where you live, can do full sun or morning sun, afternoon shade. With me in North Carolina, with our heat and humidity, they need a break in the afternoon. So they can have that 6, 7, 8 hours of good morning sun, and then if they can start to get in the shade around that 2 o'clock on, that's where they are the happiest. I love smooth hydrangeas because they bloom on new growth, meaning you are guaranteed to get flowers every single year. Some of my favorites, of course, the Invincible series, right? So you have here, we have Invincible Limetta. They will turn like that nice kind of that limey color. Here in the greenhouse, of course, we have some UV protection, so you can see that they are blooming. This is a repeat bloom for them, but they bloom on new growth. You prune them in the spring, late winter, early spring, gorgeous traditional mop head flowers on them. So here's Limetta. If you want pink roses, then, not roses, listen to me, hydrangeas, here we have Invincible Ruby. Now you can see there is a difference in size here, right? It's just merely a difference in crops. These have been sitting here for maybe a couple weeks longer than rubies. Rubies still will have this traditional mop head flower on it, but as its name suggests, it is a gorgeous ruby red color. No matter what your soil's pH level is, they are color specific. So all your arborescens that I know of that we have here are color specific. It does not matter what your soil's pH level is, they are gorgeous. So whether you want Limetta, you want ruby, my personal, well, yeah, I guess so. Favorite would be Incredible. We know Incredible, we love Incredible because they have those big, huge, massive white flowers on them. So we've got Incredibles here. If you want that same look of an Incredible, but you want that pink flower, then go with Incredible Blush, right? So you get that massive head on it, but it is a nice blush pink. you're like, well, Jenny, that's too big. I don't need that size. I want something smaller. Well, then you're going to want Invincible Wee White. Look at the foliage on Wee White. It is absolutely stunning. This is a nice, healthy plant. All of our hydrangeas are going to be in quart-sized containers. So what we probably recommend to you the most is let's move it up to a bigger container. Or if you want to put it in the ground, just go ahead and make sure it's nice and protected and that it gets plenty of water throughout the winter. If you're in the south, you're not going to have to worry about that too much because of all of our rain. That Wee White, again, color specific on that beautiful white flower, and it's going to be much, much more petite given its name. So we've got that Wee White also. So those are your arborescens. Next, we have panicles. So panicle hydrangeas, very, very popular, especially here in the south because we are guaranteed to have flowers every year and they are in the full sun. So the panicles are sun lovers. You have to give them sun. So that means at least 6 hours of sun. So let me find some of my, here we go. We are in the mode right here. So these would be like your, any of your quick fires, right? So we have got like Little Quick Fire. Look at the foliage on Little Quick Fire. And if you are looking to bring in pollinators in your garden, then you want the quick fires. Little Quick Fire, along with the other ones, will do these really open flowers on them. They're not as tight, say, as like a limelight, but your pollinators love them. This is a stunning plant. That is gorgeous, healthy. So Little Quick Fire. It will turn a blush pink. The cooler zone you are, the more red you're going to get on this. This is going to be about like size 3 to 5 feet tall and wide. Here in the south, they're definitely on the 5-foot side, but you prune them every year. You're guaranteed to have flowers every year. And like I said, Jerry and I were absolutely blown away with the number of pollinators that were on our Little Quick Fires, our Quick Fires, all of that, because covering the plant had a nice sweet fragrance to it. Love it. So you've got those. We've got firelights. So firelights, we were just at the terrace gardens. That's what I have. Big, massive, gorgeous hydrangeas that give you those beautiful flowers. They're lovely, right? Absolutely guaranteed to have flowers every single year. And I'm sitting here looking at all the different kinds of things that I have here. Then we're going in to serratas. Serratas are like your mountain hydrangeas, what we call a lace cap. And so they tend to be, they are a native hydrangea. They are very open on their blooms, but they are pH dependent, meaning based on what your soil's pH level is going to be the color that you're going to get. So if you're going to be, you could be light pink, you could be hot pink, you could be purple, you could be light blue. It just depends on your soil's pH level. Typically, they are going to be more sun tolerant than your macrophyllus. And so you're going to have, you can do that sun. So I know that Mama has a spot in her garden that it's a little weird. It doesn't get enough sun for a panicle, but it's too much sun for a macrophylla. Well, then she has the Tough Stuffs in there. So whether you want the Tough Stuff Top Fun, this is a reblooming hydrangea. Look at that, a reblooming mountain hydrangea. Again, big on the lace cap. The outer petals are going to be bigger, and then the petals on the inside are going to be smaller. You're going to get some fun kind of coloration on for the leaves in the fall. This is going to be about like 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So it's going to be perfect for those smaller areas, or if you want to put it in a container, you could absolutely do that with Top Fun. Then you have tiny Tough Stuff. So here we have tiny Tough Stuff. Obviously, it is going to be a nice smaller one. Here would be the color if you had in the more of the blue flower range on your pH levels. And this one, obviously, given its name, is going to be a bit smaller. This is going to be 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. Very, very adaptable. Again, perfect for the front of the border, or if you want to put it in containers, you could absolutely put those in containers. And then last, but certainly not least, we have those macrophylla hydrangeas that we were talking about. Your macrophylla hydrangeas are going to be historically, I would think, what most people think of when they think of a hydrangea. These are your grandmama's hydrangeas, right? These are the nice, big, bushy shrubs that do the massive classic hydrangea. I think most of the time you think of them as like beautiful pale blues or pale pinks. Those are your macrophyllas. Macrophyllas bloom on old growth. So that means if you have to prune it immediately after it blooms. Historically, it would be nice if you didn't have to prune it at all. I forgot to tell you the serratas, most of these, the new introductions bloom on old and new. So if you have a late freeze and it kills the old, the buds that were already on there on your serratas, like your tough stuffs, don't worry. They're reblooming. They're going to bloom on new growth as well. It's just going to be a little bit delayed, but you're still going to get flowers. Your max, old growth. And so, but then you get that classic look of a hydrangea. So one of the newest ones that I love is the Wee Bit Innocent. And Innocent came from our dear friend Megan Matai. And y'all, this is the cutest, tiniest little hydrangea, and it's called Wee Bit Innocent because it has these very, very soft pale colors. It's still going to be pH dependent, so you could have a very light blush pink like this one, or you could have a pale blue. And so that innocent look, very pastel. It is going to be a nice small one, 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet wide. I have this I planted it this year in the forest pansy bed, and y'all, it has grown really, really well. I mean, it has more than doubled in size in less than a half of a growing season. So Wee Bit Innocent would be, again, great for the ground or a container because it's nice and small, soft pastel colors. So we love that. Wee Bit Giddy is next door right here. Wee Bit Giddy is going to be the opposite. So where Innocent is nice and soft and pastel, Giddy is going to be bold. You're going to have big, bold colors on Giddy. It's still in that like 3 foot range on Wee Bit Giddy. Really, like I said, if you like the bold colors, there you go on that one for sure. We also have, let's see, I'm trying to find, we have Lovable. So here we go, Let's Dance series. The Let's Dance Lovable is going to be, again, look at that, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful flowers on this. And it is a reblooming big leaf hydrangea. With all the breeding that's coming in with these macrophylla hydrangeas, they're trying to get them to rebloom so that if you do have that late freeze, you're not going to lose all your flowers. So Lovable is going to be a little bit bigger, 3 to 4 tall and wide. Still hardy in zones 5 to 9 like most of them are, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit bigger. So the main difference when we're coming in and talking about the new different kinds of hydrangeas, whether it's a panicle or a serrata or whatever it is, a lot of times some of the main differences are going to be the sizes of the plants because the breeders are understanding that not everybody has these massive yards. Maybe you live in a condo and you just have a patio area. Well, there's a hydrangea for you and you can use them in there, and you can put it in a container. You could be like my sister who lives in an apartment in downtown Charlotte. She just has a balcony, but she still has her containers, and if she really wanted to have a hydrangea, she could easily put it in a container. So there are tons of different kinds of hydrangeas. If you go to the website, right, you're going to want to order through the website. There are lots of different filters that you can use. So if you want to look and search through the different kinds of hydrangeas, just do that, and there is a hydrangea for you. So again, they're 30% off. Do not have to use a code. We've already done that for you. Now, I have Sweet Thing with me right here. He is not mic'd up, so he's going to stand extra close to me and to the mic. So we talked about we have some new introductions, 2025 introductions from Proven Winners that are 50% off.
Yeah, they're 50% off. We're just wanting to get those out the door for the folks that are warm and that can grow them.
Right. So my people in Arizona, Utah, California, those warmer parts of California, Texas, my deep southern folks, my folks in Florida, these are going to be the plants for you that you're going to have throughout the winter. Because we have a sweet dear friend that lives in Arizona, in Phoenix, and Y'all, it gets hot there in the summertime. She can't really grow petunias there because it's too hot, but she does it in the wintertime, and they're stunning. So you want to head over there and let's talk about those?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So where are they? Show me.
I just couldn't, I was just sitting there listening to you about those hydrangeas, and you were just giving all the technical information.
Well, we try to educate our people, right? So that way you can make a good informed decision.
No, yeah, we've got the pink, Tiara Pink Supertunia. This is the new 2025. We have a few of these left. Excellent looking plants.
They did just get watered, so they're a little
just get
smushed.
water. I just watered them just a few minutes ago while you were talking about the hydrangeas.
With the tiaras, what they're going to do is they're going to have a lighter on the inside. We can see some further down here. And then the tiara blue has that nice light color on the inside, and then the darker pink or blue on the outside.
Yep, and the Bermuda Beach. And then this is the ever popular Coleocaea, the Mini-Me Chartreuse.
Y'all, I'm telling you what, right now, you are going to love this plant. I have big plans for it in the signature garden for next year. It is stunning. It'll do sun, it'll do shade. Right now, the ones at the nursery have been, in the flower bed, and they look like small shrubs. They are glorious. You're going to want this plant. It's going to be great for containers. If your traditional Color Blaze Coleus gets too big, you're going to love these.
Yep, we got some red salvia, the new red salvia, and the white one. So both of these were the unplugged red, unplugged white.
Yes.
This one's stopped blooming for now, but all you have to do is just,
all we have to do is just pinch it off.
Just pinch them off.
Yep.
Like that.
Not a problem. And sometimes we actually like to do that. We need to come through and do that with these because it creates a bushier plant.
They will show up to you without that on there.
Yeah, so before we ship them, we'll come through and snap these guys, because you can actually see right here where they have the buds. So folks who are in the warmer zones, if you're west of the Mississippi, I know that you keep your hummingbirds throughout, like year round. We don't here on the East Coast. They always migrate. But if you're on the West Coast, your hummingbirds are going to love this plant. It is fabulous. And then of course the unplugged white. It is kind of in that same part of like the unplugged blue, where it has that completely different, like a silvery blue foliage to it. It is gorgeous and a little bit more petite. So lots of fun on that. So all of these annuals, so the two unplugged salvias, the Mini-Me Chartreuse, Bermuda Beach, and then the two tiaras are going to be 50% off. So order them now, we'll ship them out to you, get them in the ground, get them in the container, and you're gonna enjoy them until your crazy heat hits, whenever that is for you. But we have been super impressed with all of these, and that's why we chose these.
Get them out of the greenhouse, so we just need to move them on.
Right, so that's why they're 50% off, because we want to get them in your hands and out of our hands, because this week for us, we're gonna dip down into our lows are gonna be in the 30s, which I love. But that is perfect for these hydrangeas, y'all. I still have plenty of hydrangeas at the house that I need to transplant. It's a great time to transplant your hydrangeas. It is a great time to add hydrangeas to your garden. So
I know, just down at the garden center, we're selling a lot of shrubs.
Yes.
It's just, folks are buying in. They're finally coming around and understanding this is the time to plant. You've got to plant your shrubs and perennials right now.
Yes, absolutely. So there you go, my friends. Some updates on what's happening. Stay tuned for Jerry's going to put up the drone and show you that pretty landscape lighting at night, along with the foliage here in North Carolina. Not quite, not even close to peak colors down here, but we're starting to get a little variation, and so we are super excited. Those 30-degree nights are going to help with the leaves. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.